Toronto Regionals is McFree. I don't know if you're watching me cook right now, but it's McFree. Everyone I play, free.
Yes, that's me sitting on stage. And somehow, that's me who just top 8 the VGC Toronto Regional Championships this past weekend. I don't know how I did it, and it was a dream weekend. Like, I beat the GOAT, WolfeyVGC. I almost beat the VGC Regional Champion from last year, Chupa Cross, and I won $1,000 playing a video game that I thought I was pretty good at, but not this good. And also on top of that, look at this, guys. I won 3 booster boxes. Oh, I just dropped it, that are worth hundreds of dollars. And you know what, for Christmas, if this video gets 10,000 views, we get 100 comments, and maybe let's say 200 subscribers, I'm gonna give away one of these booster boxes. You know what, let's do that. And honestly, I just feel like giving away because this weekend was crazy. And I wanna talk about exactly how I did it, how you can do it, and just overall recap the entire weekend from the team that I built, why I made this team, how this team was so good into WolfeyVGC the GOAT, and how I day 2'd, how I top cut, and how I got on stage in top 8. And I'm gonna walk you through my team, my run, and all of that good stuff. But I just hope you guys are here to enjoy the ride. And you know, I'm an average player like you. I was never a professional. You know, I just go for vibes. And I just can't believe again that this weekend happened the way it did. I got so much love, so much support, and I'm excited to give back to you by making this video and just recapping the craziest weekend ever. And it all started with a really crazy, weird moment, right? I mean, first of all, I basically quit the game. Yeah, I basically quit VGC 9 months ago. I played for 2 years. I never got a top 8. I never made a top 16. And I wasn't having the most fun time, you know. I was in Orlando Regionals last year and I didn't play well. And I had a weird moment where I felt like I was spending so much money. I wasn't having that much fun and I wasn't as good at the game. You know, I used the same team as my friend who actually finished pretty far in that tournament. And I was like, you know what, why can't I do it? Why am I not playing well? Why am I spending all this money to play at this event when I have work? You know, I have to make money, I have to live my life. And it was a special credit to a few of my friends who said, you know what, I want you to come back to the game. I want you to play. We miss your personality. We want you to have fun. So I came back. I went to a couple locals, and in the second local I went to a few months back, you know, I used a team and I finished top 8 and I lost to the eventual winner, Blake Falls. Shout out you, Blake. I think it goes by Kaguya or something along those lines. Good friend of mine. And I was like, wait, am I actually back? Am I pretty good at this game? And I decided right then and there, you know what? I'm gonna try to go to one more regional and give myself one more chance and see myself if I can perform, if I can really do it, if VGC is as McFree as I always say it is, because, you know, I was in Chicago and I was cooking those locals back there. And I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give regionals one more chance. So I decided to sign up for the Toronto VGC Regional Championships this year in December. I don't know why I want to go to Toronto. It was cold as hell, like 10 degrees, and an 8-hour drive. But you know what I figured? It wasn't that expensive as flying somewhere. It's relatively local, East Coast, and I can go for the weekend and just have fun, have a good time. So I went. But before I go, I needed a team. I needed to build a team. I needed to build something that was so strong, like so powerful, and that made matchups feel really, really easy. So I don't know where to start. And then I had an idea. My first ever day 2 was in Orlando back in 2022. And that was a run that felt so amazing. And I realized, you know what? I haven't been playing for a long time. I don't even know what popular tools there are. So let me come up with a relatively similar strategy that I used to day 2 my first regional championships, and maybe use that to help me, at least in my mind, go X3 or day 2 the regionals this year. That's how I was approaching it. My only goal was to make day 2. Little did I know, things will get a lot crazier. And now let's talk about my team. So now that I'm back to VGC, I knew I needed a team to succeed, to make my goal of getting to day 2. And I realized again that I need something that I'm comfortable with, that I know will do well because I'm using it and it feels comfortable to me. So now that I came out of retirement, I decided to play again, and now I'm committed. I paid $60 for this regional championship. I paid $100 for a car rental to go there and back, and I paid, you know, $150 or so to have an Airbnb. So now I'm committed for the weekend, and I know I want a team that can give me a real chance to have fun, play well, and get wins. So I have to think about the first thing I always think about when it comes to building a team. This is the first thing I always think about. What is a strategy that I think is good, that I think will play well, and that I have comfort and experience with? So then I have to think back to, okay, when I went to Orlando Regional Championships in 2022, I made my first top 32, my first day 2 at the time. And it was a team that comprised of Iron Hands, Grimmsnarl, Pelipper, Palafin, Amoonguss, and Goldango. And the idea of this team was it had a screens concept, light screen reflect, had redirection in Amoonguss, had setup in Goldango and Iron Hands, and had weather control and speed control with Pelipper, who had Tailwind and Rain. So, what I had a lot of this I had experience with. I know I've done well with it in the past, and it lets me have a lot of control over the game. So what I decided to do? I'm gonna use a very, very similar concept at Toronto. I wanted screens, I wanted redirection, I wanted Tailwind, I wanted weather control, and I wanted a setup Pokemon. So I'm gonna show you guys my team that I used, and here walk you through why I built it, the ideas behind it, and the concepts. So here's my team. Here's the team that I used for the regional championships. First of all, we have Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is the GOAT. Grimmsnarl is the founding piece of this team. Light Screen, Reflect, Thunderwave, Foul Play. Why did I use Grimmsnarl? For one, I wanted screens. It reduces the damage, by both attacks, physical and special, to make my team live longer. I wanted Thunderwave because I'm a menace. And also, Thunderwave can make you paralyzed, right? If you get paralyzed, you can't move that turn, but it also counts as good speed control. So you actually lower the speed of your things in half. And then I like Foul Play. See, most players use Spirit Break, but I wanted Foul Play because if I get intimidated a bunch of times by Incineroar, Salamence, Arcanine, I can still hit the top tier meta threats like Rillaboom, Dragonite, who else is there? Annihilate for really good damage with Foul Play, even if I have a minus attack from Intimidate. So Grimmsnarl was great. I went Terra Go so I can ignore Fake Out. I can resist Sneasler, Dire Claw, and Close Combat, be immune, and just have a good time in those matchups, as well as dropping my weaknesses, right, to Steel and Fairy. So the spread I used in particular was to live a Helping Hand Dire Claw from Sneasler, to live, an Ursaluna Life Orb Blood Moon behind Light Screen, and it was amazing. This Goldango lived every single attack, Wood Hammer from Rillaboom, Make It Rain from Goldango, and it lived everything. It just sat there, I got my screens up, I got Terra Ghost, and I could just spray Thunder Waves everywhere I went. It's my favorite Pokemon in VGC. I've used it at over 4 regionals now, and again, it clearly was a good luck charm for me this time. The second Pokemon I had to use was a partner that worked really well with Grimmsnarl, and that's where I ended up on Arcaludon. Arcaludon is amazing next to Grimmsnarl. It fills out one of the most popular cores in the game of Steel, Dragon, and Fairy, right? With those 2 mons alone, I have Steel, Dragon, Fairy. I have a super strong Draco Meteor. I have Electro Shot that takes 2 turns but it boosts your special attack. Hint, I obviously got it to use it in 1 turn because of a special, tactic I had. I got Body Press and Snarl. So that was the thing. I wanted to be max speed. One, I wanted Snarl to outspeed other Goldangos. I wanted to actually win the mirror match with other Arcaludons with my body press after I was boosted, but also with Draco Meteors and, other body presses, Electro Shots. I can get boosted faster and win that way. And I thought being fast was really, really important. I had bulk in my Arcaludon too. My special attack wasn't that high because I knew with Electro Shots and my bulk, I would get a lot of boosts and be able to get momentum that way. So then now I have Grimmsnarl and I have Arcaludon. Obviously, to use Electro Shot, I need the Rain. So I have Pelipper on here. Pelipper is simple. It's Sash, it's Pelipper, it has Protect, spread damage in Muddy Water, Hurricane, which is so much damage. Oh my god, it is so much damage. And with Thunder Wave and Hurricane, you can Thunder, you can Paralyze, and confuse the same Pokemon, which gives you so much hacks, which I personally love, gives you an advantage. And I had Tailwind for speed control. The reason I had Terra Ground was because this Carson Confer team and Marcus Dion team actually, had Electabuzz with Electrowebs next to Ursaluna Blood Moon. And this gave my team such a hard time. I had no way to do damage, to get up Tailwind, to do Muddy Water, and this actually came up, which is crazy, in my top cut, where I actually played that exact same team, and I terrestrialized Pelipper across this entire tournament 4 different times. So Pelipper was the GOAT, the Terra Ground was very important, and Muddy Water was amazing. The next piece I needed was, okay, I have Grimmsnarl, I have Pelipper, I have Arcaludon. Now, again, I want to make my Arcaludon stronger. So, Mousehold. Boom, I have Mousehold on my team now. Why? I can beat up my Arcaludon, but also my Mousehold is speed trained to where it can outspeed my Pelipper, and my Arcaludon could do Super Fang. So really bulky Pokemon like Rillaboom, like Incineroar, like our Ursaluna, Porygon 2. I could just Super Fang and take half of your health, bro. Beam, boom, boom, half your health is gone in a click. And then I can double up with a strong attack. But also I have Beat Up, and Beat Up lets me hit my own Arcaludon 4 times, get a crazy boost when you never expect it. it. I would lead Mousehold next to Pelipper, next to Goldango, next to Dragonite, next to Grimmsnarl, and I would beat up and just switch in my Archaludon, and it won me games right away. There was moments where I literally did that turn 1 and I rolled over my entire competition. Also, I had Protect for, protection reasons to make myself have to be stronger and follow me. I loved having Mousehold with Grimmsnarl because it gave my Mons extreme bulk. Imagine having Light Screen, Reflect, and Friend Guard, and then having Redirection. That next to a Mon like Archaludon is really strong, but what makes Mousehold amazing is its best partner, in my opinion, and it's not Annihilate, it's Goldango, who is my GOAT.
The motherfucking GOAT!
2 or 3 of my day 2s across VGC. My first ever day 2, and it's the best Pokemon in the game. I mean, you can't get faked out, you can't take status, and you do insane damage with Make It Rain and Shadow Ball, right? Like, I can get this Pokemon set up fast, and I have the most amazing support. In Tailwind, I can just do Make It Rain damage, Shadow Ball damage, but also, again, I have setup, I can follow me, I can nasty plot, and I was so fast. I beat all the other Goldangos this weekend because I was faster than all of them, and in Tailwind, I just win. I just win all the time. It's amazing. It's my GOAT. Goldango's that guy. He made it McFree, and it's amazing. Like, I use it next to Mousehold all the time. Super Fang, Make It Rain, Protect, Follow Me, nasty plot, it was great. Then the last piece of my team that I knew I needed was Dragonite, because I needed something to beat that Carson Confer team. I had to beat it. I needed Tailwind, I needed multi-scale, and first of all, Dragonite is amazing. In my round 1, which I'm gonna get to, it was my MVP. Terra Steel is better than Terra Fairy for the mirror. Most people ran Terra Fairy. I think you're dumb, personally. Terra Steel makes you resist Dragon, resist Fairy, resist Ice, but also, it lets you just sit there in the rain and not be weak to fire anymore either, right? And I had Scale Shot for the amazing damage. It killed Indeedees, it killed Sneaslers, it did so much chip damage. And again, you guys forget, behind Mousehold Super Fangs, Mousehold outsped Dragonite, Pelipper, Goldango, and Archaludon, and can just Super Fang every single Mon. And behind Screens and Friend Guard, when you lose your defense on Scale Shot, it didn't hurt that much, right? Then I have Priority, E-Speed, and Tailwind for more speed control. I loved having double Tailwind because it allowed me to use them both without having to take too much time to set up a Tailwind, right? If I lead Dragonite and have Tailwind, Pelipper can come in the back, have its rain, and start spraying muddy water. So powerful. And that was the team. It was really good into certain matchups, and it was just so oppressive, right? It had Light Screen, Reflect for support, it had a Redirection support, it had double Tailwind speed control support, it had Thunder Wave for status moves and support in speed control, and then I had spread damage and Make It Rain, I had damage reduction and Snarl, I had multi-move attacks for Focus Sash Pokemon like Scale Shot. This team had everything. It had a Fairy Steel Dragon Core, I had Weather Control and Rain, and yeah, like, the team was amazing, right? Like, I think this team was super powerful, and clearly it showed in my run, where I again beat some of the best players like Wolf Glick. I played Chup Across, and I top 8 this regional. So now, if you think this team is cool, let's talk about my run. So now I'm at home, and the team has been created. Now it's time to travel all the way from Little New Jersey all the way up to Toronto, Canada. It was already cold here, and I was not looking forward to going to Toronto, Canada, where it was 10 degrees at 7 p.m. 10 degrees. So now I go to Toronto on a Thursday. It's an 8-hour drive. I finally get there. I cross the border, and I think about it, and I'm like, you know what? It's time to get ready for the tournament. So what do? I go to Hibachi with my friends, drink 3 sake bombs and a couple of beers to clear my mind. Yep, I don't recommend it. Don't do it. Please don't do it. I don't recommend it, but hey, it works for me. If you like the booze. Oh, and did I mention that I actually don't have my team in game yet? Well, that's a funny story because I actually only have 2 gym badges.
Boy, what the hell?
I have 2 gym badges. I don't know any of the gym leaders' names. I don't know the evil team.
Who's this guy?
I don't even know the champion's name.
Do you even play the game, bro?
But what do I have? Good friends. Let's go, yeah. These friends were the people that made my entire weekend. One of my friends, Josh Robinson, and he actually built the team for me. Thank God he did, because his team was terrible. He brought Espeon. Thank you. Yeah, dude, I was telling you, don't run that shit. So after I had my team in game, I still wasn't ready. As they say, you need to have a big feast before battle. And that's what I did. Thanks to my good friend, Chef Rich. Again, the friends are so important. My friend, Chef Rich, who I didn't know was actually a chef, made 36 sliders for our entire Airbnb. So it's fair to say I was fueled and ready to go for the big day ahead. So before I went to bed, I actually ran to CVS or whatever their convenience store is, grabbed 2 Red Bulls, and I was primed and ready. I was ready for the next day. Until I realized something. I actually have played 0 games with this team online. I only have had practice with this team on Pokemon Showdown. So I said, you know what, before I go to bed, it's like 11 o'clock right now, let me go on my Switch and play a couple of games. And that was a mistake. I go online, my very first game, and I missed 3 Snarls and 2 Draco Meteors. And you know what? I said, you know what? I think I'm done here. Fast forward, I played about 15 more games. I look at my clock on my phone. It's now 3 a.m. The tournament starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. and I have to be inside the venue around 7:30. So I think I'm fucked. But you know what? I said screw it. I have an amazing team. I feel pretty good. I ate good food. I have my Red Bulls for emergency. I call it my rocket fuel. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm here. Let's ball out and let's see what happens. So I sit there, I get ready, I go into the venue, and I look at my pairing as pairings were announced. And the name looked familiar. And my round 1 was none other than one of the famous lily pad boys. I don't even know what that means, but all my friends know who they are. And his name was Ryan Hebert, I believe. And the name sounded familiar, and I said, shit, dude. I look at the team, and it's a bunch of crazy ass pieces. I see Whimsicott, Meowscarada, Indeedee Male, Goldango, Mousehold, and Komao. Hyper Offense. Okay, sure, let's deal with that. Only problem is my answer to Indeedee is Grimmsnarl with screens, and he has Meowscarada, who breaks through screens with Flower Trick. So, you know what? I started playing, and game 1, Terra Steel Dragonite was an MVP. I set up screens, and I used Dragonite, and I just obliterated his team, and I cooked him up. It was McFree. He had really no chance. Free. Game 2, the same thing happened. I got to an end game where I was gonna win once again. And if you can remember the night before, I told you I missed 2 Draco Meteors. So the first time I clicked Draco Meteor in game 2 at the very end of the game, I miss and I lose. And I said, you know what, dude, this is already how it's gonna be. My tournament is gonna be just like this. But I dialed back in, I tapped right into my dog, and I worked him game 3. He's a really nice guy, but I gave him that 1-2 combo, and I kicked his ass. And I felt, you know what? McFree, I feel pretty good. The matchup I really did have, I had such a good team, but I just missed a bad Draco Meteor. So I felt, you know what? Get that out of the way and go into the next round. The next round, I played Wyatt Fout, and I look at his team sheet, and I was so happy. I was so happy when I saw his team. Why? Because this exact 6 Pokemon group, I practiced against a million times. In my head, I was like, wow, dude, like, thank God you bought this basic ass team. My plan into this team is always bring Mousehold Goldango. It's so good into his whole team, and I can always go for a Super Fang plus Make It Rain to eliminate his Dragonite immediately. And if he doesn't have Tailwind, the game is over. So what did I do? I led Mousehold Goldango both games, and I absolutely ran him over. He didn't really have a chance, but he was a really nice guy. And yeah, I really cooked him really badly. The game was over in 2 games. And I really needed to use the bathroom, so I was so grateful that I won only 2 games. The third set is a crazy one because this was my hardest matchup of the entire day. Porygon 2, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Hydreigon, Goldango, and Ursaluna. And it's funny because the night before in my Airbnb, there's 5 of us staying there. And one of my friends told me he's using this exact same team. And I said, well, you know, hopefully I don't play you or anyone else running it. Little did I know that I actually played him. Bruh. My good friend Andreas. Oh my God. My friend, I played my friend Andreas, who had the nightmare matchup for me. Imagine that. In game 1, I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna lose again, I'm gonna lose to a friend, I don't mind. Game 1, he kicks my ass, right? Hydreigon just ran over my entire team with Incineroar. In game 2, I was like, you know what? Let me have a new plan. Let me try using my Arcaludon more and playing with Arcaludon. And all I could wonder was why he switched up his game plan. He brought Porygon and he brought Incineroar? Bro, you just beat my ass with Hydreigon and Goldango and Incineroar. What are you doing switching it all up? And I was so grateful. Game 2, I played so well. I played passively a little bit around his team. Had to stall out Trick Room, get my Ursaluna, get my Goldango ready, get my Arcaludon ready with those boosts from beat up on Mousehold, and I beat him in a close game. And game 3, it was even crazier. So game 2, I led Mousehold and Pelipper, and I went for Super Fang plus Protect. Game 3, I was alive, and I thought, you know what? There's no way he can expect me to switch in Pelipper for Arcaludon and self-beat up. There's no way he can predict that, right? There's no way. And there was no way. I did that exact same play turn 1, got my Arcaludon ready to +4 instantly, had my Terra bug activated with Rain so his Flare Blitzes cannot hurt me, and I just rolled through his whole team with my Arcaludon. And I won the set, and I beat my friend, and I was done sweating, and I felt like, okay, I'm 3-0, I had a great start, I beat my nightmare matchup. It can't get any worse. And then the pairings are announced, and then I look at my phone, and there it was, Wolf Glick, the GOAT, the best player in the world. 9-time regional champion Wolf Glick. Are you fucking kidding me, bruh? This is some bullshit, bro. I had to play one of my best friends in the game, who I live with and knew my team. Then I had to play the GOAT, the world champion, the best player, my inspiration, my idol, the player that I have been looking to become just like. And I said, you know what, if I'm gonna lose, I hope I lose to WolfeyVGC, and I hope it's on stream. So I sit down, and there I sit down in front of the Michael Jordan. I'm like, oh my God, I'm seeing Michael Jordan right now. I'm a huge sports fan. I feel like I'm literally playing against Michael Jordan. I sit across from him. I'm just talking to him for a little quick second. Really nice guy, 10 out of 10 dude. And I don't want to be one of those weird fanboys that's like talking to him too much, and I don't want to do that. I want to focus on the game. I want to lock in. This is my one shot at the king. I don't want to miss. So I sit down and I look at his team sheet, and I see Parrish Song, very similar to his team in Orlando. It's Kingdra, Arcaladon, Politoed, Gothitelle, Incineroar, and Amoonguss. And all I could think was, Gholdengo is really good. My Maushold and Grimmsnarl with Terra Ghost are really good. So is my Arcaladon. So you know what? I decided to lead Gholdengo and Grimmsnarl. I did that both games. I absolutely tried my best. I made crazy switch-ins, crazy reads, and I could talk about this set all day long. I remember almost every single turn. And it was a blur. It was really a blur. Next thing I know, I'm killing his Politoed. I'm calling his Protects. I'm double targeting the right slot. And I win game 1. I just beat WolfeyVGC. Oh my God. There was literally a moment where he took off his jacket to focus, and I'm like, yo, I'm making the best player in the world sweat right now. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. And then game 2 starts. I lead the same 2 Pokemon. I lead Gholdengo and Grimmsnarl. Very similar plan. He does the same thing. And we have a very similar game, but this one turn, instead of protecting his Arcaladon, he didn't protect it and tried to condition me from game 1. And I had a feeling he would do that. So I doubled the Arcaladon and I won game 2. And the weirdest part was that I cooked his ass. I cooked the GOAT.
Free.
I butchered the GOAT. If they call him the GOAT, y'all should call me the butcher, the way I cooked him up.
Free.
Honestly, it was my easiest matchup of the whole day so far.
Free.
And I couldn't really understand it. So I take a picture with my phone with the slip afterward, send it to my boys at home, and I literally tell everyone, guys, I just dunked on Jordan.
Free.
Yeah, I literally dunked on Jordan. I posterized him. I made WolfeyVGC lose in 2 games without even sweating. And that's when I knew I could be in for a really special run. So I beat him. I'm 4-0 right now. I need 2 more wins out of 4 matches to make the next day, which is my goal in day 2. I've already had 1 Red Bull today and I've had no food. So I said, you know what, I have 2 Red Bulls. It's been working for me so far. I'm not gonna eat lunch. I'm gonna take another Red Bull right now. So I drink my rocket fuel and I'm ready for round 5. And round 5 is where it gets good. I look at the team sheet, but before round 5 is where it gets good. I look at my pairing, and it's somebody I have played at multiple regionals, at multiple locals, Mr. Logan Mazer. For those of you who don't know who he is, he actually went 9-0 in one of the previous regionals earlier in the format. And I was like, okay, it's not getting any easier. And I look at his team, and I was actually pretty surprised to see a very balanced team. He typically doesn't play this kind of team, and my good friend I actually made that very weekend, Tim Edwards, was playing the same team. For those of you who don't know, Tim Edwards actually finished 2nd at EUIC last year, and me and him get along really well. So I had a good understanding of what this team was, what it does, and how I can beat it. And if you guys remember earlier in the video, I referred to my Terra Ground Pelipper. Well, let's just say game 1, it did numbers for me. His team consisted of what we call Volcarona balance. It was Volcarona, Rillaboom, Kingambit, Dragonite, Sneasler, and Electabuzz. And game 1, he goes right into that Kingambit support mode where he leads Electabuzz and Kingambit. But my Pelipper is Terra Ground and has Muddy Water. So his Electabuzz can't touch me, and he might want to taunt me because I have Tailwind. So what do I do turn 1? I set up a screen and I go for Muddy Water. And I just roll him from that. I roll him, I cook him, I fry him.
Free.
Pelipper wins me the game. Game 2, I lead Maushold Pelipper Pelipper. And he leads Rillaboom King Gambit. He knows I like Muddy Water. He knows I like support. There's no way he thinks I can go for a really cool play I use in round 2 by switching in my Archaludon for Pelipper and self beat up. So I go for it. I Terra Ghost my Mousehold to avoid fake out, and he absolutely read me like a book. He Grassy Glided and Sucker Punched my Mousehold, and the game was really over after that. I couldn't get going. He outpaced me, and he had an extra Pokemon advantage, and he won the game. So I was like, fuck. I was like, shit. What do I do in game 3? So game 3, I go a different mode. I go screens, and I go back to what I want to do. And I just played a really crazy balancey set. I remember getting my Archaludon set up, ready to go, with screens, Terra Bug, and I do it. And I win the set, and I'm ready, and I'm feeling good. I'm 5-0. I beat him, and I was sweating, and I was nervous, and I was, oh my God, I don't know how to do it. But at the end of the day, I realized that I'm really just that guy. Free. I beat Wolf Glick. If I can beat Wolf Glick, I can beat Logan Mazer. Are you kidding me? They're not even in the same breath of sentence. Logan's a great guy, great player, but I beat the GOAT. If I can beat the GOAT, I can beat anyone. At this point, I wanted to just keep it up, keep my momentum going, and keep playing well. And the next team I see is something that gave me nightmares. All I could think about from practice and the day before the tournament was how Annihilate gives my team hell. If you can just kill my Archaludon without doing anything, that's so hard for me to win the game. Same with Dragonite. And I look at the team sheet, and what does he have? He has Whimsicott, Tyranitar, Magmar, Archaludon, Indeedee, and yep, you guessed it, Annihilate. And game 1 was a sweat. I set up my Archaludon, I set up screens, and I was thunder waving everything in sight. And all I could do was play well, play around his Annihilate, and win the game. And I did that. It was pretty easy. I felt pretty good. Game 2, I was very scared of a Whimsicott Annihilate bleed. And guess what he leads? Whimsicott Annihilate. And now I know he's gonna go for some beat up plays. He wants to beat up and Rage Fist my whole team to death. So I led Grimmsnarl and Goldango. So turn 1, what did I go for? I went for Thunder Wave into Whimsicott. That way he can always move second with beat up, and I Shadow Balled the Annihilate. Unfortunately, he protected the Annihilate, and Whimsicott was paralyzed. But then I thought, okay, well now I think I can always go for a Shadow Ball plus Foul Play to the Annihilate, because whatever switches in does not take this that well. Whimsicott has to go for Beat Up or Tailwind, so no matter what, Rage Fist boosted Annihilate is not going to hit me. So that's what I do. Turn 1, he goes for a Rage Fist tap into my Goldango. He self-beats up with his Whimsicott, but I go for a Shadow Ball plus Foul Play into his Terra Fire Annihilate, and it gets the KO. At that point, it was boom, 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 boom. I killed him. He was done. I beat him, easy, 2-0, next game, let's do it. So I beat him then. Free. And I keep going. I'm like, oh my God. Well, wait, I just made day 2. I'm 6-0. I just made day 2 of the tournament. Oh my God. Free. I achieved my goal. Well, now I'm playing with house money. So I figured, you know what, let me just keep it up, keep it going, keep playing well and see what happens. And I see my next team sheet, and his name is Rafe. One of my friends knows him, and he says he's a pretty good player. And I said, I don't give a fuck. I'm better than him. I'm on fire. No one can touch me. I beat Wolf. I can beat anyone. And that's what I thought was gonna happen. And I look at his team, and it was Whimsicott Goldango, Dragonite Ursaluna, Incineroar, and Archaludon. And I was like, okay, well, this is a very similar team to mine, but his Archaludon was an Assault Vest. It was Stellar Terra Power Herb. So I was like, okay, well, I think my Archaludon's very good here if I can get screens and outbulk his team. I did just that. My Goldango is faster than his, and my Archaludon faster than his. And that's what I told you, those EVs and that speed training that I put to make my Archaludon max speed and my Goldango max speed, it single-handedly won me the set. I got my own Tailwind up, and I used my own faster versions of the same Pokemon to win. I had the matchup. It was a really easy set for me, and I won 2-0. Free. And now I'm 7-0. I'm like begging to be on stream at this point, and they still have not put me on stream. But afterwards, I got to do a fun interview for the Pokemon company with Mrs. Gabby. So she pulled me over to the side, I took a cool picture, and we did an interview. Little did I know that this interview would go viral. And I was calling everyone McFree. I was selling L's, buy one, get one. I'm selling it all. I'm the best player here. I said that I'm the bad matchup. And it's true, I was confident. I was on top of the world, and no one could touch me. I felt unstoppable. I was one of 6 players left who were 7-0 in the whole tournament. There were 791 players, and I was in the top 6. And I said, you know what? There's one game left. I'm gonna win and go 8-0. And then I sit down and I look at his team. I look at the pairing first, and I saw Justin Tang and Marcus Dion also 8-0, and I dodged them both, and I was like, yes, I'm playing a random. I'm playing a no-name. That's what you love to see. As someone who, if you don't recognize their name, you're pretty excited about it. Little did I know, he finished top 50 at Worlds, and he's a really good player. But I just did not know him because I forgot that I've been retired and living under a shell for the last 9 months. And he had a similar team to mine. It was a rain team. Sinistra, Basque Legion, Pelipper, Arcalodon. It was a very good team. And he cooked me game 1. He absolutely destroyed me. And I said, you know what? Let me try game 2 and give it my best shot. And I won. I won game 2. I played balanced. I played well. I used my Arcalodon. I outpaced his own, and I won the game. And game 3, I go with a very similar route. I lead my Maushold and my Arcalodon. But he leads his Basque Legion and Arcalodon, and he was playing very passively. But turn 1, I make a passive play. He flip turns into his Arcalodon, gets a stamina boost, then brings in his Pelipper, and gets a +1 Electro Shot boost already. Yep, so he outpaces me, and he rolled me. I tried my best, but I finished 7-1 on the day. And it was weird because I felt really happy, but ending on a loss made me feel like I didn't play that great, and I had a negative taste in my mouth. For the rest of the day, I couldn't really think straight because I had 0 food. I had 2 Red Bulls, and all I could think about was, well, you know what? 7-1 is great. I wish I would have won the game. 8-0 would have been amazing because to qualify for the top cut of the tournament, you have to go 9-2 at the minimum. So if I go 8-0, that means on day 2, where there are 3 extra rounds, I would only have to win once. That's a dream. Unfortunately, now I have to win 2 out of 3 against the top 100 players in the world. So I went home, ate a little bit, had some good food, and went to sleep. And I didn't really think too much about it. I had a good time the night before, and I prepared with my good friends, some of the best players on the planet. And I prepared with them for the next day, went to bed nervously, and yeah, I got ready for the next day. Some of you might know me as a celebrator, a partier. Well, this is because the last time I qualified for day 2 was Charlotte Regionals, where I actually drank way too much, partied all night, and didn't wake up in time for day 2, where the player that I partnered with to build my team actually finished in the top 8 himself using the exact same team. I was being called Mr. 1.5, Mr. Day 1.5. I was not gonna let that happen again. Over 20 people messaged me that said, Darsh, you have to wake up the next day. So I go to sleep and I hear banging on my door the next morning. And I said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, did I miss it? Did I miss it? Did I miss it? And it's my great friend Kevin waking my ass up at 7 in the morning. Thank you, Kevin, bruh. You woke me up, I'm ready to go. I have my 2 Celsiuses with me, my rocket fuel, my battery packs, and I'm ready. I have to win 2 out of 3 games to make the top cut. That's all I want. And again, I had this mindset that I don't think I'm gonna do it. I'm not good enough. I beat Wolf Glick, yes, but now players know my team. I have a target on my back. And I said, you know what, screw it, let me go for it. So I get to the venue and I'm ready for day 2. And I look at my first team sheet for round 9. My first pairing, and her name is Fiona Smikowicz. She finished top 4 at a previous regional, and I was mad as hell because she beat me at NAIC 2 years ago. And I said, oh my God, I'm gonna be cooked. She's better than me, there's no way. And then I looked at my phone, and my good friend, Michael Kelsch, said he'll help me with matchups. So I look at my team sheet and I say, hey Michael, you know, can you help me out? I have a pretty tough matchup here and I need help with this team. I've heard about it because one of my friends actually played her team yesterday. So I asked some of my friends about the team, I got the information, and I asked Michael about it. And he's the 2nd best player in the world. He finished 2nd at Worlds 2 years ago. He finished top 4 at Worlds last year. And he's such an amazing guy and a great friend. And he helped me out every round of Swiss. Because everyone that I played for the rest of the day, I actually played them somewhat before, and I could see their team sheet from my other friend. So he helped me out, we planned the matchup, and I look at her team, and it's Primarina, Ensign, Rillaboom, Annihilate, Goldengo, and Baxcalibur. And our biggest fear was that she would lead Primarina with fake out support and try to build her team around Primarina. And she never did that either game. She went with Baxcalibur and Annihilate, and then Rillaboom and Annihilate, and I kind of just murdered her.
Free, 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 free.
It was really easy. I killed her 2-0.
Free, 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 free.
I felt bad about it, but she was honestly the easiest game probably of the entire weekend after my round 4 versus Wolf. So I don't know, her team was probably good enough to get her so far. star, but she wasn't really that good, at least in my matchup, because I think her team was just not able to handle my resources, which I don't think is a fault to her, but a credit to my amazing team and the build that I made. And it felt pretty good. So now I won again.
Free.
Or the next round, I'm playing against Benny Vasquez. And I'm like, wait, this name sounds familiar. He was undefeated entering the next day. That means he lost his first set of Swiss in round 1 of day 2. And I said, great. Well, now I have to play a player who was just undefeated, who was 8-0. And he had Magmar, King Gambit. That was his team. It was all built on this idea of Magmar supporting this King Gambit balance. And I'm not gonna lie, I killed him too. I murdered him. I put him in the blender. It was McFree, like
Free.
Fiona was McFree. Benny was McFree. Day 2 was being McFree. I never would have thought it. And I won. I literally beat him. And it was convincing. 2 games done. And in game 2, his Ninetales froze my Goldango. Oh, you think that's it? He froze my Goldango in game 1 also. I got froze both games and still won. I'm freaking him.
Free.
I'm him. It's McFree. I'm literally him. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. I got that dog in me, and I thought that no one could stop me. I felt unstoppable. And then I play against the team that everyone's been telling me about. And not even that it's a special team, but I'm playing the reigning Toronto Regional Champion, Chuppa Cross. Oh my God. If I win this game, I get a free bye into top 16 of the regional championships. That means a free $750, a free pass into top 16, and I get to beat the regional champion. His team was Indeedee, Sneasler, Volcarona, Ursaluna, Tyranitar, and Annihilate. And I said, well, this team awfully reminds me of the team that Carson Confer and Marcus Dion used at Sacramento to finish top 4 and as the champion. Finds out that he built the team with them. All 3 of them ran this team. Marcus and Chuppa are both competing for the championship right now. They're both in day 2 fighting for the top cut. And I'm like, shit, well, let me give him my best go. I get 2-0'd. I'm gonna be real. He cooked me both games. I led Dragonite, Grimmsnarl game 1. I got rolled. I led Pelipper, Grimmsnarl game 2. I was closer. I thought I had actually a pretty good matchup in hindsight, and I was like, you know what? If I ever have to play him again, my chances are okay. I think I can do it, and I felt pretty confident. So now it's done, and I'm waiting. I'm hoping that I get a bye week. I'm like, yo, is there any way that I can get a pass into this top cut? Into this top 16. Unfortunately, due to resistance, which basically measures other players by the players that they've played against. So if a bunch of players are 9-2, only 4 of them will get a pass as a bye week into the top 16. But because my resistance was not as good as other players, I finished 10th after Swiss. So I had to play a round 1 of top 32. And I look at my top 32 matchup, and there it was, the team I was preparing to play all weekend. The Carson Confer team from Sacramento of Sneasler, Indeedee, Electabuzz, Ursaluna, Incineroar, and Talonflame. I had lines into this. I had practiced this matchup over and over and over. So I did it. I led Grimmsnarl and Pelipper. He led Ursaluna and Electabuzz. I Terra my Pelipper, Terra Ground, and I just muddy water my way to victory. Game 1, I rolled him.
Free.
Game 2, he leads Indeedee Sneasler. I led Grimmsnarl Pelipper again. If I knew he was going to use that lead, I would have brought Goldango, but unfortunately I couldn't predict him. So I don't protect my Pelipper turn 1 and I set up Reflect. Unfortunately, he gets to read right and doubles my Pelipper and kills me. I think I'm gonna lose. Only way I can win is if I make every hard read possible. So what do? I bring in Dragonite, I get a Scale Shot up, I get some Tailwinds right, and I start making the craziest calls. He Terra Darks his Sneasler, and he thinks I'm gonna Terra Steel my Dragonite to stop myself from Expanding Force and Dire Claw. So he close combats me. And I get that turn right. Then my Grimmsnarl dies and I bring in Goldango. And now he thinks I'm gonna Terrasilize my Goldango. So what does he do? He close combats my Goldango. I'm like, oh my God. So I never Terrasilize the entire game and it keeps making harder reads and I end up winning the game. It was crazy, it was a sweat. I was celebrating like crazy. I did one of these afterward. I was so hyped, I was popping up, I was feeling myself. I felt like LeBron, I felt like Michael Jordan, I was playing so well. Then top 16 comes, and I get so effing mad when I see the matchup. It's Noah Gardner, the player who I lost to in a round 8 of Swiss in day 1. So I called Michael Kelsch. I said, yo, Michael, this is my matchup. I don't know how to beat him. What do we do? So we planned for 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I sit down and came up with this matchup. He led Basculegion and Arcaludon to beat me, and the counterplay to that was leading Grimmsnarl Arcaludon and always Thunder Waving the Basculegion and Electroshotting. Even though it takes 2 turns without Pelipper, this way he can't get a free boost into his Arcaludon, he can't maybe move with Basculegion later in the game, and I get good momentum. So game 1, he actually leads Pelipper Basculegion. I do that turn 1, and I kill his Basculegion, and I just win the game. I won. Game 1 was over in 2 seconds. I said, okay, well, that was pretty easy. Game 2, he went back to his classic of Arcaludon and Basculegion, and it was a blur. I lost badly, and he won. And I said, well, here it comes down to the wire, comes down to this final game. And I led the same thing. He brought Sinistcha and Basculegion, and I said, okay, well, I'm gonna Thunder Wave Basculegion and just focus down the threats. So that's what I did. All I did was focus down the threats the entire game. And I get down to a point where I have my Arcaludon next to my Mousehold. He has Pelipper next to his Arcaludon, and his Basculegion in the back. I have Reflect Up and Light Screen up. My Mousehold is at full health. My Arcaludon is about 75%. I protect my Mousehold, and I body press with +3 Arcaludon into his Arcaludon, who has about 35% left and is not terastallized. He lives on 3 HP. So I'm like, well, now I lose because my Mousehold's protected. He doubled into it, but the next turn he can double into it because he has Tailwind, and I'll lose. So I try to go for a double. Unfortunately, I don't get it, and he doubles that spot and it dies, and that's it. And I get a couple of chip onto Arcaludon, but I take a Weather Ball, and I'm not feeling great. He brings in Basculegion. I'm now at about just over 0.5%. He has Arcaludon next to Pelipper. I go for a Snarl as he protects his Pelipper, and I kill the Basculegion. But I take a lot of damage from the Arcaludon. Then he brings in Basculegion. It's Choice Band Last Respects. I'm like, fuck. It goes for it. I only take about 40%, 30-40%. So now I'm living at about half health, a little bit under half health. I kill it with Electroshot. He goes for Weather Ball. Now I'm at 44 HP. Tailwind now expires, so I move first. I go for Snarl. He is now at half HP. He is just under half HP. So now one more Snarl kills. I don't know if Body Press kills, but his next move kills me. I go for Snarl for the win, and I get it. And I go crazy. I actually can't breathe after this match. It was the craziest match I had across the entire tournament, and we both jumped out of our chairs, not knowing what was gonna happen. There was a huge audience around us, and I won the match of hell. I won my rematch of my nightmares. I beat the man who beat me. If I can beat him, I can beat anyone, right? And now I'm looking at this top 8, and I see Benny, who I've beat. I see Wolf, who I've beat. And I'm like, oh my God, I can make a serious run at this. And I look at the bracket, and there it is, my nightmare matchup. The only other player I lost to, again, I have to play. Chuppa Cross. There it is, Chuppa Cross, the reigning champion, the player who already 2-0'd me. There it was. There was the matchup, and I'm sure you guys have seen it on stream, and it was crazy. I won game 1, and then unfortunately I lost game 2 and 3. And if you want to watch the match in stream, here's a link in the description. I'll put it there. You can watch it there instead of me talking about it. And I finished. My tournament run ended. And it felt so cool. Like, I lost in top 8. I won $1,000. I won amazing prizes, and it did suck to lose on that big of a stage after winning game 1, which I did. But he made the plays. I didn't make the plays, and I think, the pressure might have got to me. But what I can say was, I cooked the entire tournament. I finished 7th out of 791 players, and it felt amazing. I got to be on stage. I got to get 3 t-shirts just like this one. I got to play Wolf Glick. I had the best tournament dream of my life. All my friends were there cheering me on. I got over 100 DMs asking for coaching, asking for help, and wishing me luck. I felt the underdog in the ring. Like, I was an average player, I had a couple of good runs before, but I never had top 8. I never made money before. I don't have a YouTube channel or a Twitter. This is my first YouTube video in this subject. And I felt like everyone else. I felt like the average player. And what this tournament taught me was a couple of things, that we can always go far. An average player can always be the champion. You can always beat the best players. You can compete with the best players in the world. I did that. You can too. And it felt great. And what I realized from this tournament is that I love having fun. I love Pokemon. I love battling. The key to succeeding is actually using comfort, pieces that you actually like. Ripping good teams is good for practice, but players have practice against those teams. You have to use your own unique thing that you are personally good with and have comfort with. For me, that was screens, setup, and Goldango, and it worked. I played amazingly. And the other last part is that friends matter so much, right? And I think if people do this and have a good time and come in focused with their friends, having fun, with a good team they've practiced with, they can beat anyone. You can do it. I literally did it. I won crazy prizes. I won on the dream of my life. I literally called everyone McFree because it was. And I beat Wolf Glick. I beat the champion of the world. I beat the world's best player, the GOAT. And if you want to watch me break down exactly how I beat the world champion Wolf Glick and gave him that 1-2 combo and called him McFree and talk about how I cooked him, how I butchered up the GOAT, then watch this next video where I tell you exactly about the time I dethroned the king and the player who actually won the entire regional championship.